openly, and not having to just kind of like keep it to myself. So that's the only thing that's really changed. And I guess it was like a relief more so that I could finally like have these conversations like with my parents and like about like my sexuality or you know stuff in the community that I see, being able to
Right.
discuss that with them and how it relates to me. So that's like afterward what I noticed that changed.
Yeah. How do you have any like relatives or other family members in the LGBTQ plus community?
Yeah, I know that I have a cousin, his name's Kevin. Um, I know that he's gay, and my aunt and my uncle accepted him. It was an adjustment for them more so, especially like from like a religious standpoint. But they accepted him because they love him and he's their son. And who else I could think of? I think my mom's cousin, James. Um, like from when we were like little, like we all knew like he was gay and so it's like been in my family. It was like it's not like something that's like unfamiliar.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean that's pretty cool. Like that's pretty unique because I like I said, like in my family, like I had no other like family members who like
Yeah.
either came out or expressed that. And so that's new. Like not every family has that. And um like I said, it could either be a positive experience or a traumatic experience. So I'm glad that was a good experience for you.
Yeah. Me
But
too.
but yeah, like I know when it comes to like families, like it can be like a pretty sensitive topic because like everybody wants to be loved and like
Mhm.
regardless of like your sexuality, like that shouldn't be a factor of like being a part of a family, you know?
Yeah.
And especially
And
like, oh, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, and like the cool thing is like you can really choose who you want to tell, and like I didn't go and tell like my entire family tree. It's just like my immediate family, and I guess if it comes up, then I'll let them know. But I didn't feel the need to like go and like message everyone, and so that's good because it's not a conversation that you need to have with everybody, and or especially if you don't feel comfortable, or sometimes it's not even necessary because like I don't even know all my cousins, so why would I go and like
Yeah.
tell everybody? Yeah.
Exactly. If you don't wish me a happy birthday, I'm not gonna, no, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
No.
But yeah. One thing I did want also wanted to talk about was how how openly and accessible it is to like um I guess create a
Like create like a same-sex family?
yes, I didn't want to say it exactly like that, but like to be able to become one. Like
Yeah.
when it comes to like the adoption process and
Hmm.
when it comes to like it could even be like fostering, like it doesn't have to be adoption, it could be
Yeah.
fostering, it could be caretaking. I know like certain families like they don't want the same sex like couples to even be babysitting. Like there's just that like stigma like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I don't want that around my like my kids, I don't want them to learn that. And like I know now in schools like they 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 teach it, like they teach and they show that representation, whether it's in books or whether it's in like their peers have same sex like
Hmm.
parents. Yeah, so what was like I wanted to talk more about that and like what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I learned like in my child and family science class that there are some like hurdles that same-sex couples face when in regards to like adoption. Some agencies like or like private ones like do discriminate, even though that's like illegal, like against having like same-sex couples adopt. I'm not entirely sure about the process, but I know that it's definitely easier now that like same-sex marriage is legal. Because before, like you could be like cohabiting, like you and your partner, but um, you're not like technically married, and so like one of you would have to adopt a kid, and it's already hard for like it's hard for a single person to adopt a child than it is for a couple. So I know that it's easier now in that regard because you're like legally married, but there's still hurdles that are faced in regards to discrimination. Um, I about the fostering thing though, I mean, I've seen like representation that in the media. There's a show called 911. Um, Two of the main characters, they're like a lesbian couple, and they have a son, but they like they foster kids as well. So I know that's like being represented. I haven't personally like experienced that, like known people who do that, but I know that it's a possibility. But there definitely are hurdles that are faced because of like discrimination.
And I think it's like really good that like schools are starting to like represent like those families and show that because
Yeah.
it's important to have that representation like at a young age and
Hmm.
not and then not understanding it like later on and being told like, oh, that's wrong, like it's not wrong, it's just not represented, so it's not very
Yeah,
common. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. So that's really good that schools, I believe, I think it's like 9 states already that have passed have passed it in their school district, that they're allowing that representation and they're showing that to like children.
Yeah, like in like books you read, like it's always like the mom and the dad and like the brother and the sister. So it should be able to represent like two dads or two moms because that's what we see in the real world, and that's how families are, and there's nothing wrong with those families. And I know that like in some states I saw, like I think it was in Texas, this teacher, I think she got fired for like showing her class, I think it was a picture of her wife. When I remember in third grade, our teacher showed like her whole wedding video to us, her husband and them like getting married. And so I just think that's interesting how like we were able to watch that whole video of her and her husband getting married, but this one teacher like shows a picture of her wife and them together, and she gets fired. So there's still issues with that like in different places, but it's definitely something that's like in people's radar now, and it's like talked about, so it's not being swept under the rug anymore.
Yeah, I believe that's totally true. And thank you for your inputs and your opinions and for sharing your story and
Yeah,
for
of course.
thank you for allowing me to have you today in our podcast.
Thank you for having me on here.
Thank you.